Hello, all my yarny friends. I'm Sara Sach, and welcome back to my crochet channel, and welcome to another edition of this or that, or maybe the other thing. And what that is each week we are talking about some topic, and I give you the opportunity to give your opinion. Now, these questions will have to do with yarn, crochet, patterns, things like that in the fiber art world. And if you're interested in that, please come each week and watch our videos. And then I give you the opportunity to comment down in that comment section. And remember, there are no wrong answers. Everyone's opinion matters because we're all at a different place in our crochet journey. Because whether we've crocheted for 100 years or 5 minutes, we're all at a different place. Maybe you've been crocheting for a really long time, but you've never tried any other techniques. And that's what this is all about, learning together in our wonderful crochet community. Now, today's question has to do with a question that I get all the time, and that is, can you do a quick video for me real quick? Well, what do you think? Do you think videos are super quick, or do you think they take some time? Okay, so what is involved in designing, writing, filming a crochet video? So the reason I'm covering this topic isn't that I don't want to do videos that are quick, because I do, but there is just no such thing as a really quick crochet video, because even ones that are 5 or 10 minutes long take a lot of planning and designing and editing and testing to be accomplished. And so I'm going to kind of show you just a quick way to see how I do things, because in reality, the crochet videos that I did this week, even today's video, was in the works for many months. And I occasionally I can throw in one that's not pre-planned, but it still takes a long time. And a video that is about 10 to 15 minutes takes 18 to 24 hours to create. Okay? And so let me walk you through some of those things just to kind of give you an idea of how that all comes about. So I have pulled out one of my old notebooks just to kind of give you an idea of what I do. And I pick up these books every year. I pick up 5 or 6 of them at the beginning of the school year because they're already on clearance usually by the time I get them, and there are always tons of them. And I like them because the lines are wide. Okay, so anyway, I begin with some sketches. Like this mushroom hat, I just wrote a quick drawing down, and this is my idea book. All right, it says candy corn bag. I just sort of sketched that out. Here's my spider pillow that I made. Black cat coaster. I never made this one. Okay, and so these are just, I use a notebook to write down my ideas. Once I like the idea, it goes into designing phase. And that's where I take some yarn and I practice what I'm doing. And I usually do some practice. Here's a smile that I made. It's just a practice. And if you look at this, you'll notice the eyes are real far out. Well, I didn't like that, and I want to move the eyes in. So this is just a practice piece. And I usually do that next. Once I decide I like what I'm doing, you can see there's a lot of sketches in here. I'm going to go forward in my book. And then here's one of the ponchos I was working on. You can see I wrote some lines out. I'm doing counts. I'm deciding sizes. And a lot of these things, that's how it starts. And then once I get past all of this, and I have all these notes written down, there's some more math. Here's one that's a picture of something that I was making. I got a pocket here, and I think this was one I was doing when I was doing a hood. And so you can see that it's just all kinds of ideas. All right, so here's my Grateful Granny poncho pattern. Then I start writing down repeats, math. Here is all of the information we need to know. Here's sizing, you know, and all of that stuff. And then it moves into writing it out in longhand, stitch counts, what to repeat, where to increase. It's not, the pattern's not written, it's just a basic pattern, okay? Once it gets to that point, I go ahead and I make a practice piece that I'm happy with. And what I mean by that is I pick out the yarn. I've got the yarn that I want to use in mind. I practice with that yarn to see how it's going to work up. And there's a lot of times the yarn that I've chosen, I don't like. You know, it's beautiful yarn, but it didn't work for that project. So then I'll choose a different yarn. Maybe I started designing in a light 3 and it's not laying the way I want it to, so I'll go to maybe a medium 4 or a bulky 5. So once I have completed a practice piece, it's ready to go to the testers. And so at this point, I've typed up a tester pattern and a practice piece. And I send that out to my testers, and then they, you know, come back to me and say, well, this might work better this way. The sleeve will hang better this way. The length is better this way. And then we work out all the kinks till we have a perfect pattern. I say perfect because I'm only human and my testers are only human, and sometimes we miss things, okay? But then I work up the actual piece in the yarn that we chose, and sometimes it's the yarn first, and then sometimes it's the design first. It just depends. If I find a yarn that's just gorgeous and I'm like, I've got to make something with this, then I work with something, trying different things until I really love what I came up with for that yarn. And it's just a really long process. So once I have a piece that I love, the project, and the written pattern that works up, then becomes the editing of everything. So the pictures are taken and I begin the video. And if I'm making, say, even this hat that's right here, just the filming of the portions takes several hours, usually 3 to 5 hours, because you're stopping and you're starting and you're sneezing and you're coughing, and those things have to be cut out. Or your husband pops in and says, what you doing? You know, those things happen, and sometimes you film it, and then because I'll film a section and I'll go back over it and I'll look for mistakes or things I said wrong, and I don't always catch them, but I do really try. And there's times I meant to say double crochet and I said single, or I meant to say chain 1 and I said chain 3 or something. And so those things need to be fixed. I don't always catch them in the beginning editing, but when I'm doing the editing of the video, a lot of times I'll catch it and I'll put that correction in there right on the video when I'm editing the video portions, okay? And that's just the filming of it. So then after that, all the pictures need to be edited, all the video pieces need to be edited. And I call them video pieces, they're sections or whatever. Okay, and that takes several hours in itself. Okay, so then it's time to make the video. All right, I have a wonderful video editing program that I like. I've used different ones through the years. I'm kind of settled on this one, although they keep doing updates that drive me nuts. But just leave it alone for a while and let us get used to it. Okay, but that's a whole nother subject. But then it's time to make the video. So I have thumbnails that I need to add to the video. I have music. I have to choose which ones. And my husband writes all of my music for my videos. If you've ever wondered, my husband is quite the musician. That's where my grandson gets his musician-y talents from, I think, because my husband he plays all kinds of instruments, and he does all the writing and performing and everything for all of my music in my videos. And I only use music at the beginning and end. I don't use it throughout, because I personally find music throughout a video in the background annoying. So you won't find that with me, okay? And if you don't like the music at the beginning, just turn the music off through the beginning, and then when I start talking, you can turn it back on. Okay, so then once I get the portions of the video edited, then we need to go back through, watch it several times, make sure it's how we like it. Different things change constantly. That particular portion also takes about 3 hours. And so once it's completely finished and ready to be rendered on YouTube, the whole process of all of that, you know, like this hat here, you know, and that doesn't count how long it takes to stitch it up in real life. Because when you're doing a video, you're not stitching it up in real life. I have sections pre-made, okay? And so then the video's ready and it's out there for you. And with every one of my videos now, I've been doing this for about the last 7 years that I've been on YouTube. When the video is out there, it also has a written pattern with pictures. So and that link is always underneath the video for all of those patterns, okay? And so when you click on that video, you're getting the video with lots of stuff in it, but there's also lots of information on the blog. And so you can click that link that's underneath the video. I try to put it right towards the top. It says crochet pattern video link. And you can click that and you can get all kinds of information like multiples and measurements and extra things that I forgot to say or I meant to say, but I forgot to say, you know, and get lots of information. Even if you don't read a pattern, it's really good to go there because you can look at the still pictures as well as the, you know, online. It's one thing to watch me crochet it. It's another thing just to see what it looks, you know. I try to do each row, and then if it's a complicated pattern, I might break up those instructions, break those up into portions, okay? But I try not to have, a whole lot of pictures, but I do try to give you enough pictures where you can understand it. And so there's a lot involved in just making a video, okay? It's not just get in there and stitch it up. There's a whole lot more involved in that. Just to give you kind of an idea that you might understand, have you ever gone and had family pictures made and they take a gazillion shots, but only 2 of them work? It's kind of that kind of thing. You take a lot of video, you take a lot of pictures, and you can only use about 1/10 of it. And you have to, a lot of times I do the same portion 10 or 12 times to get it right. Because it's frustrating to me if I'm working along, I don't understand what's going on, especially for like a more complicated pattern. And so it is good to have those pictures as well as the video that you can refer to. And that's why I do that. And you can also, if you go to Ravelry, you can purchase the pattern as well. And that's good because on the blog, you're going to have ads. I don't have a lot of ads popping up, but just a few. When you get the when you get the written pattern that you purchased from Ravelry, you're not going to get any of that nonsense. It's just the pattern. So I hope that helps you understand. It's hard to go through all of this because it really is, for every pattern, it's a really long process. The patterns that you're going to see this spring and this summer, some of those are already designed, yarns picked out, the process of the sketching and all that stuff already started, because I want to have things that you can make ready to go. Sometimes it doesn't work that way. Sometimes I'll get a brand new yarn in and I'm like, ooh, I'm going to switch the yarn I was using and make it from this. And then my testers go, oh, and I do that too, but it's just life. But for the most part, it probably, for just a basic pattern, if you count all the hours in making some of the items, it could take several weeks just to get a test pattern ready to be tested, and so when you send me an email or a message and say, can you do a real quick pattern for this? I can't. I just really, really can't. And I have a lot of things in the work. I get a lot of people will say, can you do this? Have you thought about doing this? And I do have a lot of those things already made. So I just encourage you to go over to my Sara Sach Crochet Designs YouTube page and click that tab that says playlists. I have a bunch of playlists that organize things. That way you don't have to look through everything. If you're looking for hats, you're looking for bags, all of those things have their own playlists. And I have Christmas and Halloween playlists and a lot of those kinds of things that will help you find patterns that you are looking for. All right. So I guess the bottom line, the question is, have you ever tried to make a pattern like that? Have you ever tried to do a video? I would like to know, your experience if you've ever done that. And I hope that you understand what I'm trying to say, and that I just cannot stitch up a quick video. It just doesn't work that way. All right, so again, feel free to comment down in the notes, and I'll see you next week for another edition of this or that, and like today, the other thing. See you next time.